Salve te discipuli. Hello, 8th grade, and welcome to this week's Latin lesson. So we've got kind of a lot going on this week. You've got 2 Latin passages to read through this week. So this first one, venatio, this is on page 105 of your Latin textbook. Sorry, let me move my face around. So this one is, you're going to have 2 parts to this. So I'm going to read through the Latin like I normally do, and then you're going to first answer these comprehension questions about the passage, see if you can kind of figure out what's going on without necessarily translating it first, just kind of based off of the vocabulary you're familiar with, using the glossed vocab to help you out. And then you're going to translate the passage. With the second part video where I walk through the translation, you'll make corrections and then submit that translation per usual. And then there's the second passage, the Pastor et Leo passage that you guys are going to translate as well. That one there's no comprehension questions for, so that one's just a straight translation. All right? Okay, so let's take a look at this venatio passage. So we've got some vocab glossed on the side for you guys. We've got iterum, meaning again. We've got cervi, meaning deer. We've got esuriebant, for they were hungry. Fortissimi, this means very brave. Retinet means is holding back. Hunc is going to be this. Tres is 3. Audacissime means very boldly. Recubuerunt means they lay down. Obdormiwerunt, this means they went to sleep. So this is very similar to dormio, right? Dormio, dormire, a verb to sleep. So that's the action of actually like you're already asleep. Obdormio is going to be to fall asleep or to go to sleep. Iratissimi means very angry. Ridiculum is going to be ridiculous or silly. Edebat is was presenting. We saw this in the first passage for this chapter, the Gladiatores. And then fugiebant, began to run away, began to flee. Suos means there, and destrinxerunt is they drew. Now, we're getting to the point in this textbook where they're expecting you to kind of have a pretty solid grasp on vocabulary. So there's a lot of words in here that have been in previous passages or previous chapters. So you might need to spend some time reviewing some vocab from previous chapters that you might be a little rusty on. So keep that in mind. There's quite a few words in here that we have seen before, but maybe not a ton, and it may have been a while. So if you're having some trouble with vocabulary, use either the dictionary that's on Cambridge Elevate, or again, you can use the Explore the Story passage to help you out with vocab as well. But if you find yourself having to look up most of the words in a passage, you're going to want to make sure you're really spending time studying your vocabulary, not just from this chapter. Go back and review previous chapters as well. Go back to those Quizlets. Remember, for the study logs, you should be studying your vocab for 5 to 10 minutes a day. You guys are remote, so I can't monitor how much you're studying your vocabulary. This is kind of the only way I've got to try and make sure you're getting that. But this is really getting crucial that you are making sure you have that vocab down so you can focus on kind of the more nitpicky grammar details. So grammar in this chapter, remember we learned some new accusative plural endings for our nouns. So if a noun is a direct object and it's a plural, right, we have 3 new endings. We have a long AS, OS, and then that ES ending for third declension. So these are new plural direct objects. So for our nouns, when you're translating, really make sure that you're paying attention to whether the noun is the subject or the direct object, and whether it's singular or plural. And then for verbs, always pay attention to the tenses of your verbs. And yeah, so let me get through. We're going to read through the Latin of this, and then you guys will work on answering comprehension questions and then translating this passage. Okay? All right. Postquam retiarii ex arena discesserunt, tuba iterum sonuit. Subito, multi cervi arenam intraverunt. Cervi per totam arenam curebant, quod per territi erant. Tum, canes feroces per portam intraverunt. Canes statim cervos per territos agitaverunt, et interfecerunt. Postquam canes cervos superaverunt, Lupi arenam intraverunt. Lupi, quod valde suriebant, canes ferociter petiverunt. Canes erant fortissimi, sed lupi facile canes superaverunt. Nucerini erant laetissimi, et regulum laudabant. Pompeiani tamen non erant contenti, sed clamabant, ubi sunt leones, cur Regulus leones retinet? Regulus, postquam hunc clamorem audivit, signum dedit. Statim tres leones per portam ruerunt, tuba iterum sonuit. Bestiarii arenam audacissime intraverunt. Leones tamen bestiarios non petiverunt. Leones in arena recubuerunt. Leones obdormiverunt. Tum Pompeiani erant iratissimi, quod regulus spectaculum ridiculum edebat. Pompeiani regulum et nucerinos ex amphitheatro agitaverunt. Nucerini per vias fugiebant, quod valde timebant. Pompeiani tamen gladios suos destrinxerunt, et multos nucerinos interfecerunt. Ecce, sanguis non in arena, sed per vias fluebat. All right, so things take a bit of a turn in this passage. All right, so you're going to work through the comprehension questions. Again, these will be posted on Google Classroom, so you'll answer them on Google Classroom. Refer back to this passage, obviously, as you're answering your questions. For vocab help, right, make sure you check out the dictionary or the Explore the Passage, or again, there's a lot of lost vocab here, a lot of new words happening here. So answer these questions as best you can, based off of what your understanding of the passage is. So kind of take a look at that. So it specifies on the line. So if it's lines 1 through 2, right, make sure you're paying attention to the first 2 lines in the passage as you're answering that question, and so on and so forth. So in each line that it tells you, it's like, pay attention to what's going on in those lines. So it tells you where to look for the answers, okay? So once you've answered these questions, then work on translating the passage itself, and then check out part 2 of our video where I walk through the translation, and you can make any corrections and then submit your translation per usual. And then again, this week there is a second video lesson for the second passage. So 2 passages to focus on this week. I know there were 2 last week. Sometimes I do one video for one of them, and then the other one, there's no video. There's videos for both of these ones, though, because my in-class students will be translating these in class. So I like to provide you guys videos for those ones, because then those students have me with them to go over it. So this way you at least have my video guiding you through the translation. So I know it's a lot this week, so let me know if you have any questions. Again, really, if you find yourself struggling and having to look up every other word or lots of vocab, go back to those Quizlets and refresh your memory, study some of the older chapters of the Quizlet. So keep that in mind. All right, on that note, I will see you guys in part 2. Walete.